Welcome to the
Thank you for
Success
joining
Partner
us on the
podcast.
Success
I'm
Partner
Daya
podcast.
Naef, your
I hope
host
you
and
enjoyed
founder
today's
of the
conversation and
Success
found some
Partner.
valuable
On this
takeaways
show,
to
we
apply to
dive
your
into
own
the stories of
business journey.
attorneys,
Remember, this
business
show is brought to you
professionals,
by
and
the Success
entrepreneurs
Partner,
who
where
have
we help
navigated
small
the
law
ups
firms
and
and
downs
business
of building
owners achieve
successful
unparalleled
careers
success
and
through
businesses.
strategic
From the
guidance,
strategies they've
operational
implemented
excellence,
to
and
the
effective
challenges
marketing.
they've overcome.
If you're ready to
We're
take
here to
your
uncover
business
the
to the
insights
next
that can
level,
help you
visit
on your
the
own
success
journey
partner
to
dot
success.
net to
So
learn
sit
more.
back, relax,
Until next time,
and let's get
keep
started.
striving for success,
Welcome
and I will
back,
see you in the
everybody,
next
to the Success
episode.
Partner podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef, and I have today with me business attorney from Dallas-Fort Worth area, Dunham Biles.
Thank you for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to learn more about some very interesting business litigation that you've been working on. What would you like to share with us?
Sure. Right now, we're having a little bit of fun. We have a wide spectrum of cases. So we have one where a former employee went and downloaded all of our customer information and trade secrets, and then apparently went out and started trying to steal some of our clients right off the bat. So having a little fun, having an injunction now against him, and working on that. And pretty soon we're about to sue. I have a representative friend and client who was raising funds, and about $90 million from an investor who decided not to pay up. So going to have some entertaining litigation going on that one. It's obviously very, very important to that client and that fund. So those are just a couple of the cases going on right now.
Great. What's one of your most fun cases from all time?
Oh, well, I guess one of them, it was actually, very much not a business litigation case per se, but represented an individual and three apartment complexes against the city of Farmers Branch years ago, when the city attempted to pass an ordinance preventing illegal immigrants from renting apartments and buying homes in the city of Farmers Branch. My clients were apartments who rented apartments largely to corporations, and it was going to be impossible for those corporations to comply with the requirements because they required all sorts of things in advance from the actual person going to be there. Obviously, corporations just rent the apartments and allow their employees to stay there as needed. We couldn't comply, so we landed up having that litigation. I struck down the ordinance, or three ordinances, went to Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. We won it there. Then I argued it in front of en banc, meaning all of the judges of the Fifth Circuit. We won it there. Then there was an attempt to get it to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we were successful in having cert denied. And that was a case that was important to a lot of people and made a lot of difference in people's lives. And as a business litigator, oftentimes I don't get a chance to do that. We're talking about moving money from one corporation to another at most. And this is one that impacted the lives of many people and made a difference in that community. So that was fun to be able to do and have an impact.
That's awesome. What did you think of New Orleans?
Oh, I always love going to New Orleans. It's not a place that I would want to live, but it's good for a couple of days, and it's like going to Vegas. You can only stay there so long before you need to go home.
Yeah. Did you go to the Rib Room for lunch? That's the big thing to do after you go to appellate court.
Yeah, no, I went and my routine is I go argue in the morning. I go back, take my stuff to the hotel, and then I go to Cafe Du Monde and get my beignets and coffee, and then I fly back. So.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, I know from your background, so you went to undergrad in Pennsylvania, and then you did Chicago Law School, and then you licensed in Texas and Arizona. So I kind of like me. You have sort of a diverse footprint. What's the story there?
Well, I grew up in Oregon, actually, about 20 miles outside of Portland. And then when it came time to go to college, I wanted to obviously go to grade school, and University of Pennsylvania is an amazing place to be. But my criteria then was I wanted to go to the East Coast, and I wanted to go to a very big city. Philadelphia checks those boxes for sure. I grew up on a ranch. We had 60 acres, had cattle, horses, sheep, all sorts of other livestock, showed cattle, horses, and sheep. And I wanted to go see the opposite of that for my time in college, because I could always come home. And so that's what I did. And then, of course, University of Chicago is, in my opinion, the best law school in America. And I had the opportunity to go, and that was an easy one. Now, I moved from West Philadelphia to South side of Chicago, so I'm not sure about my choices of the exact place I live, but it was a great time. And what and then I'm licensed in Arizona because I then moved to Phoenix, Arizona, where I was a lawyer at Quarles and Brady for 2 years before I was recruited to come to Dallas in 2002. So I've been in the Dallas area now for 22 years.
Wow. And Dallas is pretty exploding. Every time I go over there, it's like even more and more and more.
It's crazy town. Right here, I actually live in Heath in Rockwell County, which is about 20 miles east of Dallas. And I think we're in the top three fastest growing counties in the country at this point. We have a lake right out my window here to the right, where we're redoing the bridge right now, adding lanes on both sides. So it's a nightmare right now as we continue to grow very quickly.
Yes. Well, Texas is a freeway. They say LA is a freeway, but I think the entire state of Texas is under construction.
I think that's a fair statement.
I also know you love to cook, and you have future restaurateur in your dream job category. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I do. So I've actually built out the entire menu and I have the architectural plans done by a world-class architect out in LA. So we're moving down that path, but it'll be a Pacific Northwest seafood and Texas steakhouse, hopefully located in Heath, Texas, where I actually live. And it's exciting, and hopefully we'll get that off the ground in the next couple of years, probably. But as we build out the plan, but I'm also very very busy, as it turns out, as a commercial litigator. So it's sort of the dream. It's not my day job. But I love cooking. I love entertaining. And so almost everything on that menu is something that I've made personally over the course of my life. So it's a passion for sure.
Great. So when you say we are doing that, who's the we?
Oh well, that's yet to be determined.
Okay.
There are some business partners involved in that. I am the idea. I have a brother-in-law who's a chef, and so we're working on putting it all together.
I love it. I love it. To be determined. Well, definitely gonna stay in touch on that. I want to come to the test kitchen whenever you start
Oh,
wheeling out new recipes.
you'll be invited. As you know, I'm involved in Provisors, and my group has informed me that we will be having a social event there once I get it open. So because those folks are all familiar with my cooking and they're looking forward to it. So
Yeah, I would say the standing social event will be there.
yeah. There we go.
All right. And then you and I also have a love for keeping up with technology and stuff to make our lives more efficient. Tell me what your thoughts are on AI and how you're using it.
Well, I'm using AI right now in legal research. Right, the
Mhm.
Westlaw has I use Westlaw as my legal research platform. It has AI built into it, and I found it to be very useful. And right, the AI can turn around and get me an answer to a question within a minute. And then people worry, well, what that gets it wrong? Well, listen, associates do too. I was once an associate. I wrote some memos. It wasn't always exactly right. So yes, I have to check the cases that it claims, but I have to check it for an associate as well. So it makes it easier. And most importantly to me, it allows lawyers to do higher end work. At the end of the day, coming up with some of the legal answers is great, and the research is definitely important. But it's really about strategy. It's really about solving problems, and the research is a tool in that toolbox. But it's not the answer. It's not the be all end all. It's the brief. It's the strategy. It's putting the arguments together. It's the negotiations, all those things that matter, and getting the research done faster, more efficiently, and cheaper for the client is a great result. So I enjoy the fact that we're able to do that now and make full use of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the clients, our clients are going to demand that we keep up with technology.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it's going to change. I don't know this. I've talked to about friends and investors and bankers and all sorts of people. I think it may dramatically change the legal practice in many ways. In that, I people have long come out of law school, and if you could get a job at a top firm, you are obviously compensated well, but you spend the first couple of years doing document review and
Mhm.
legal research. And I'm not sure that position is going to be there for in the future as AI it has been doing doc review for a very long time. Actually,
Mhm.
there's capabilities for a very long time to do that. As they get better, as AI gets even better at research, it may be more of, John Adams never went to law school. John Adams was yet a great, was one of America's finest lawyers ever, right? And part of that is it may be more of an apprenticeship position eventually, because if we eliminate sort of what has been the traditional stepping stones for young lawyers and how they get into the career, what they're going to have to learn somehow is how to do the things that more senior lawyers are doing, and that may it may look very different in the future, what a starting lawyer does, and so forth.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's already looking so vastly different than when I started 25 years ago.
You and I started about the same time then. I'm 24 years in myself, so
Fabulous. Yeah, I just had my Loyola Law reunion last weekend.
there you go. Yeah, I guess mine's coming up next year. Yeah, 25 will be next year.
Yeah, you should look for the announcements.
Well, I'll look forward to that because my 20th had to be by Zoom
Oh.
because of that was the high. That's 2020.
Yep.
It was COVID.
We were
So
19 the last one, so yeah, fall right before the pandemic started. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So what motivated you to go out on your own?
Um, a multitude of things, but at the end of the day, it was about my clients. It was about being able to truly serve them in the way that I believe they want and deserve, which is that to make them come first and to eliminate all of. There's lots of great things about big law, and it provides lots of opportunities, but it also provides, just like any big company, red tape, procedures, processes, which I'm just not. That's not me. It gets in the way of doing things, and I'm a lot more entrepreneurial than that. And at the end of the day, it came to a head because we passed on an incredible client who called me to ask me to represent her, and it was an incredible opportunity. But the firm passed for political reasons, and that happens, especially in modern America, where some people's politics or their involvement in certain things are unsavory, and the larger the firm, the more problematic that can be, as their clients are diverse in all sorts of ways, and sometimes not tolerant of other things. And it was just an opportunity that I simply couldn't pass. And I've realized it's a decision I should have made long ago. By far the best decision I made. And then I got to partner up with my good friend and a colleague from the first days I moved to Dallas in 2002. We were colleagues, and so it was just an amazing opportunity for us to go out and do what we want to do, and for me to be more involved on the business side of law. I love the practice of law, but I also love business, and so I get to do both, and it's an incredible opportunity that I should have done long ago.
Yeah. I love that get to. So that shows that you have a true passion for what you're doing.
Yes, I do. This is I used to every now and then go at SMU and with a friend who was a adjunct professor and teach law and econ for one class period a year. My University of Chicago days, we love law and econ. But he turned it over to me to also talk about why lawyers should. Most of his students want to be lawyers and why they should or shouldn't do it. And I find that the practice of law is difficult for many and not the right choice for most, honestly. If you look at the numbers, we can see that the high alcohol abuse levels and divorce and suicide and all these terrible things. But for me, for some of us, it's exactly the right choice. And for me, that's the case. I love the pressure, the stress, the need to win, or like what I do is winning and losing. I'm not a transactional lawyer. Transactional, you can have win-win. In my situation, it's rarely win-win. It's win-lose. And I enjoy that. And I get hired by clients for their most difficult problems. They entrust me as their fiduciary to guide them to get it right. And that's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of pressure. And as we say, clients come first, and we mean it, because that is what they're counting on. They're counting on me to find a solution to their problems. Uh, and I happen to love that. I love the challenge of that because it's challenging every day. Because as I always tell people, cases never get better than the very day they walk in. It doesn't matter whether I'm the defendant or the plaintiff, because on that day I'm getting one side of the story, and it's a skewed version of the story, and it's never going to get better. You can think you have the world's greatest case, but probably not going to be quite as easy as it sounded on day one.
Yeah, it's not that anybody's lying per se. It's just that we only have our own version of the facts.
Yeah, we only have our own perspective, and we know what we know, and it may be completely right, but there are other arguments. There are other ways of viewing those facts in a little different light, and it makes it challenging because eventually you're going to have to convince 12 or at least 10 jurors or a judge about who's right, and it's not. This isn't engineering, right? This isn't numbers. This isn't math. It's a lot of art. And so you can't be sure how this is going to come out at the end, especially on day one.
Yeah, there you go. Well, how do our listeners find you?
Well, you can go to our website, which is bileswilson.com. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel for we have our own podcast as well. And so you can find us there.
That's awesome. Okay. And everybody, this will all be in the show notes. So if you didn't grab out a pen, because nobody does that anymore, don't worry about it. There'll be plenty of links to click. So thank you again, Dunham, for coming on the show today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, this is the Success Partner podcast, and I'm your host, Daya Naef.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on the Success Partner podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found some valuable takeaways to apply to your own business journey. Remember, this show is brought to you by The Success Partner, where we help small law firms and business owners achieve unparalleled success through strategic guidance, operational excellence, and effective marketing. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit thesuccesspartner.net to learn more. Until next time, keep striving for success, and I will see you in the next episode.